Yo, how's it going? SolarLune here, and this is another game development live stream. I am SolarLune. I am an independent game developer, and I'm working on a game called I Know Who I Am, made in Godot, the 2D and 3D open source game engine. It's hot. It's really hot right now. Alter says, "Hey SolarLune, how are things? It's hot. What time is it for you? It's hot o'clock. Okay, it's 6:15 in the hot. It's after 2 in the morning where I am. Okay. Well, thank you very much for staying up and saying hello, stopping by the stream. And let's see. Yeah, and yeah, thank you very much for stopping by. Steppa says, yo, hello. And RazEdge says that the title of the stream still said 7/19/19. I fixed that just a few moments ago. Thank you very much for pointing it out, RazEdge or RazEdge. So as I mentioned, I don't know if you caught it before, but it's hot. So that being the case, I might not stream for that long just because it's hot normally, but then also these lights are giving off some heat, and also my camera is gonna get pretty warm, and then thinking makes you hot as well. So this might not be that long of a stream, but I'll see if I can go for a couple hours. That would be ideal, I guess you could say. Water is going to be necessary. Cool. Okay. Let's see here. So, last time we left off, I was working with Godot. Where is that? Okay, I know who I am. Ravanen says, hi, can you give a brief rundown of how your interaction system works? Sure thing. I'll show what I have so far, and then also I'll show the interaction. Well, I'll show the interaction system first, since you asked. Then I'll show what I have. All right, so let me pull up a simpler map, something that's not as complex. We'll go with the shack here. All right, and I'll press F6 so we can actually play it and see what it looks like. There we go. Desktop audio. Lower the volume. There we go. Okay. So the way that the system works... Oh, that's right. I added thunder. I added thunder in the rain loop. I gotta fade it out. Gotta fade it out softer than that. Okay, so the way that the interaction system works is multi-tiered in a sense. It's just one tier, but it's multi-faceted. There's different elements that all add together to make the interaction system work. Fundamentally, the way I have it set up is there's a brain. There's a node called an NPC brain that basically does the calculation and the processing for interacting with things. Something is interactable if it has an NPC brain. The NPC brain has a couple of values, like which event label to run, but then also whether to trigger the event on touch, which is useful if you're if the NPC brain owner is an area, because then if it's an area, it can trigger an event just by standing in an area, which is useful. Like if you want to have something happen right when you enter a room, I just put an area 2D right where the player spawns, and then set up the brain to trigger on touch. The fundamental way that the interaction system works, though, is if we pull up NPC brain here. Okay, so there's two parts of this. One is the scripting language that I made to handle, displaying messages and handle the events, and then the other side is the underlying scripting interaction system. The interaction system is not too complex. It basically is just storing what you're doing and where you are in the queue of events, right? So you have an interaction index, that's a variable. I set it to -1 to indicate it's not doing anything at the current state, but when you interact with it, it sets the interaction index to be 0, and then goes ahead and starts running a process, which basically says, okay, if the interaction index is 0, then what we want to do is to go ahead and see if it's done first. So if your interaction index is greater than -1, if it's currently interacting, then it says, okay, am I past where my list of events are? And if so, then we're done. And we just say, okay, we're done, we're just going to exit out. But if we're not done, then we get the command that's in a list, and then we go ahead and parse the event and run through the interaction. And if we were to kind of walk through this new and fresh, the general idea is like this. So we have an event here, right? So we might have an event that says, we'll say that each event in this theoretical event system is always going to be text. It's always going to be like displaying something to the screen. So you just say like, hello there, Mark, and right, back at you, Andy, like that. So it's just it's a basic event where there's a message that displays that says hi Mark, and then another message that says right back at you, right back at you, Andy. And we'll say this Mark says that, and then Andy says this, right? So now you say, okay, so now we have an index. This is the interaction index that basically determines what should we display to the screen. So by default it's -1, and then when we want to interact, we set the interaction index. There's a couple ways to do this, but we'll say the interaction index is equal to 0. When we call interact on the object, it sets the interaction index to be 0, which means that it's going to we can now rather use something like this. So now what this will do is basically say, okay, so every frame we're looking to see if the interaction index is greater than or equal to 0, and if so, then we get the message from the event array using the interaction index. So if it's 0, it's going to be this, Andy, hello there, Mark, and then if it's 1, it's going to be Mark, right back at you, Andy. And so all we have to do to basically proceed through the event is just increment interaction index, like that. And then we say before this, if interaction index is greater than or equal to length event, then we're done. And that's the basic method by which interactions work. It's a very basic queue system where we're just like looping through a list and basically, or looping through a list or an array to basically determine what event we should be handling at any given time. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, so chat says, Alter Ego, I love those rain sound effects, rain and thunder sounds. Thank you very much. Glad it actually sounds pretty good. Josiah says, I love that bounce with the exclamation point. Thank you. Glad to hear it. Looks nice. Alan says, hey, SolarLune, can I ask you what makes you choose Solus OS? After having problems with Ubuntu, I might try it. It's a very clean operating system. It's very straightforward and simple. There's just not... It's simple. I guess that would be the best way to describe it. Like Ubuntu GNOME or other operating systems, the distro or the can't think of the term for it. Not the screen manager, but the window manager can be a little bit complex. Like with GNOME, you have the taskbar and you have the stuff on the side, but then also you have the activity view. And I know you don't have to use that stuff, but it's kind of just more to it. This feels like there's not really anything else, any other kind of areas to the, like essential areas to the operating system. It's pretty much just this one screen, so I like that. It's very straightforward to use. The software center has a lot of stuff, and it doesn't have everything, but it has a lot of the usual stuff that you would want, like graphics card drivers, printer drivers, stuff like that. Yeah, it's very, very straightforward and simple and easy. I would say that I would recommend it if you just want kind of a no fuss, straightforward operating system that's also kind of focused toward gaming, in that it's kind of focused toward like performance and being smooth and easy and not really being too much more, not really a heavy burden on your system. Having kind of better integration with Steam by default, you know, stuff like that. So it's pretty good. I would recommend it. I guess, like, why did I choose it? Essentially, I think there was an issue with my graphics card working with other operating systems where I couldn't even install them because the graphics card would just flat out refuse. Like, it would freeze the system before I could install the graphics card drivers. Solus was one of the few that didn't do that, and then it was fine generally after that. So, like, it was kind of tough because, like, if I used Firefox or, you know, tried to browse the web, it would crash basically instantly on other operating systems, as I recall. I think Antergos was one that kind of worked, but, like, I think Arch Linux didn't work. I think there was a few I tried, like Arch Linux, Antergos, Manjaro, Ubuntu GNOME, and Ubuntu Classic, I believe. I tried, like, Bunsen Labs. I tried a few, and then Solus, of course. Yeah, but I feel like Solus is kind of clean and simple. It's kind of like, it's really kind of straightforward. I like it. AOEUU says, first time in stream. Hi. Hello. Thank you very much for stopping by. Hope you enjoy it. Ravenin says, I'm stuck on branching dialogue at the moment, and Solus is deb-based or RPM-based or other. Solus is other. It basically has its own package managing system, EOPKG. So it's not based on deb or RPM, but most things are the essential stuff. The usual stuff is in the software center, and then also you have like Flatpak and Snap that is available on Solus as well. So most things are kind of easy to find for the most part. Okay, so stuck on branching dialogues. The way that I do branching dialogue is a little bit complex. That's more of how you implement it. Like, how you implement branching dialogue both impacts how you implement your data, like how your data is structured and where that is, and then it also is integrated with how you look through that data to process the event, because a branching dialogue impacts how you define the data here in this event, right? So, like, in my system, the way that I do branching dialogue is like this. This is a branch, essentially. So an if statement in my system, this is just a kind of a basic scripting language, but an if statement basically says, okay, if this is true, if this statement is true, then it will run this other command. Let's see, I think I have a simpler example of that. Yeah, so in this example, where there's a shelf that has an item, it displays these two messages, and then if you found the item already, it'll end the message there. Otherwise, we'll continue. So that's a branch. That's a very basic branch, and because you can replace this in statement with something else, like a choice or a jump to another statement or something to that effect. Maybe even another if statement. So you can have basically multi-branched events. You can also do in this example with my data here, with my event system here, the way it works, you can do something like this, where basically you say, okay, if found stick is equal to 1, do this. If found stick is equal to 2, do that. If found stick is equal to 3, do this. So you can say, for example, if it's 2, then jump here. You know, if it's 3, then, whoops. If it's 3, then jump there. Something to that effect. So basically, the way that I implement it here is kind of specific to my event system. But what I would probably recommend if you're stuck on branching dialogue is to try to figure out a way to do it from your data first, and then figure out how to improve that or implement that into your system. So, like, if you don't have if you don't have, let's see. Oh, so if you don't have branching dialogue yet, then what I would do is basically with the system you have, figure out how you would like to design that branching dialogue, how you want it to look, and how you want it to type it in or key it into your data, and then go back to your event parsing system and then implement that. I think that would probably be the best course of action to kind of kick it off. Butler Studio says, hey, kind of off topic, but do you currently work as a developer either for yourself or for someone else? I work basically for myself. Essentially, this project is one that's kind of necessary for another deal, essentially, for another party. It's not specific to this, but it's basically I'm making things, I'm making games, products for another party. So yeah. Let's see. Winder Owsley Borio says, snap fingers. Alright, so Bond says, do you think you'd ever do a tutorial on your parser? I like how simple you've gotten your events down. Just came in, so you might have just talked about parsing. Haha. Alright, thank you very much for stopping by. And yeah, I'd be glad to talk a little bit about my parser. Okay, so the parsing system is... Let me see if I can close this. Show what I have here. Alright, so there's a couple of pieces to this. Let's see, Ravenin says, I was actually thinking of creating a list of paths and implementing some sort of pseudo breadth first search algorithm, but that was kind of blowing up on my face. That kind of sounds like it could work. Well, okay, so if you're trying to make you don't really need to search. You don't really need to search for anything particularly if you're talking about a event system, because basically it's just going to take the next event, right? So in the case of a event, it takes the first, or in the case of a list of events, it takes the first event in that list and then continues until it gets to a branch, right? Then it basically evaluates the branch, and whatever one either is true or whichever one is true, it then proceeds forward. So it shouldn't have to really search. You shouldn't have to like know the path you're heading down. You should just basically have to evaluate the current event, and then depending on what that does, jump to the next event or a different event. And I'll actually talk a little bit about that in my parsing system here, because that kind of goes into it a little bit. AOEUU says, Godot doesn't support Go, just C# and it's a weird language. No, C# isn't weird. I haven't used it. I don't know anything about it, but I don't think it's a weird language. It seems kind of like Java, kind of like a statically typed, namespaced language, or kind of explicitly namespaced language. Well, now that I think about it, Go it uses namespaces as well. But anyway, it's seems fine. I wouldn't say it's a weird language. I haven't used it though, because it doesn't support mobile. Oh, AOEU says, I meant Godot's weird language. It's not weird. It's just I would say it's underdeveloped. It's not quite as good as it could be. I'd like to see more of improvements, because there's a lot of stuff that I would like to see. A lot of advances in this particular language. It's fine. Let's see. Winder says, how did you use this scripting in Gearend? How many scenes in total? I didn't use this scripting in Gearend. I used a similar scripting system, but it wasn't as advanced in Gearend. In this game, currently I have 10 scenes, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have quite a few. We'll just say quite a few events currently, probably 30 or so, 20 or 30. Ravenin says, I really hope that they properly support C# on Godot. There are so many libraries I would love to see ported on Godot. Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be nice. Yeah, when it comes to like random generation, text processing, or parsing, because I just made this parsing system myself, but like it'd be nice if there was an actual parsing library. But even that is like, there's only so much you can do with an external library when it comes to parsing text. Like, you can parse it, but then how you handle the words and what the rules are, you're gonna have to learn that learn the rule system to make it parse effectively, but then also understanding how that parsing system works is another kind of layer on top. Alter Ego says, would you say C++ is the hardest language to learn? I haven't learned it, so I can't say if it's harder or not than others. That's something that maybe someone who's more familiar with C++ could say. All right, so the parsing system, as it stands, is not too complex, I guess you could say. We'll start off with, let's see. Okay, so this is kind of what I was talking about. So when you interact, it sets the interaction index variable to be 0. And then we say, okay, so if it's greater than or equal to 0, then we're in an interaction. And then if it's greater than or equal to the length of the commands list, then we know that we're done, right? Like you say, okay, the interaction index is, let's say, 3, and there's 3 events in a list. Like it displays, let's say we have an event that displays 3 messages in a sequence. If it's greater than or equal to 3, then we know that the event's over because we've surpassed that. We've gone past that. So that way we know, okay, it's done. We can just exit the event. We've talked, we've had this conversation. We've observed everything. It's time to continue. If that's not the case, then we basically know we're in an interaction. It's a valid interaction. It's a valid event, a valid command in the event. Like display this message, play this sound, whatever. So we get the current command, which is basically a sequence of words. So like, let's say it's something to display a message, right? So it might be a command, MSG or message or window, something like that. And then another command that's the actual text, like, hey there, Bob, something like that. So when we go to parse event, this is the event that this is really where it kind of goes into the parsing. So we get the first argument in the list. So like, let's say the command is something like this. Like that. So the message might be something, this is, well actually it'd be something like this, hold on. There we go. So in this example, in my system, the command variable is composed of 2 different parts. One is the message, or rather the function name, message in this case, and then the second part is the argument. So take this and go outside is one argument. So in the case of message, we say, okay, so we want to display a message. So we basically walk through the process of actually sending that to the message window node in the GUI scene and passing it the text, the second command. I'm doing something else to substitute words in there so that you can do things like put in the value of a flag, things like that. But just for the sake of simplicity, that's what it's doing. And then we just see if you basically press the button or click to continue past the message, and then if so, we continue through the interaction and finish it up. So overall, it's not too complex. It's just like once you get one of them, you're good to go. Like I would probably say like displaying a message or maybe waiting a second or something like that is probably like a good place to start, because that's really easy. It's really simple. It gets the job done. It's very straightforward. Displaying an image on the screen is kind of complex because there's more to it. But waiting is something that you can just do with a variable inside of the NPC in this case. I'm doing something to basically substitute those words like I mentioned here, where if I type this character, the up arrow character, that basically means, hey, whatever I got for the last function, put that in my text. And that's important because that allows me to do stuff like tell what text you entered, like set a flag that says what text you entered or what time you entered or different things like that. So whatever value gets returned from one of these commands, that value can be assigned to a flag or evaluated later. Whew. So yeah, quite a bit of talking. Okay. Cool. All right. So what I'll do here, let's see. Everybody talking about C and C++ and assembly. Yeah, AlterEO says C++, you're encouraged to separate interface from implementation. This means you have to, whenever you make a new class, you have to have a header file and a source. It's tedious. That's my understanding of it as well, but I believe there's a way to do C++ without a header file, or you don't have to do it, but I never really got into it, and also I'm not a huge fan of learning about linkers, the linking process. I just never really got into it. I'm sure it's not that complex, but it just seems like I always would have trouble setting up my C++ toolchain and kind of getting into it, so I never really picked it up. Let's see. Bond of the Dead says that's a bit simpler than I figured. I guess the complexity comes from wanting them to do more. Yeah, there's a lot to. It takes just time to kind of get it to the level of doing everything you need it to, but it's not too hard. It just takes a little bit of time to just kind of like fix stuff and add the functions that you need progressively, but it's not too hard. Josh Foreman says, "Hey, SolarLune, new to coding and Godot here. I read somewhere that." Oh, hold on. This is so stupid. I think it might have, the face cam broke because of an ad, which is like, why would you do that while I'm using it? Like, I can't see the ad, so why would you like interrupt it for something I can't even like take part in? Or no, maybe it's because it's too hot. Yeah, that might be it. Let me see. All right, well, I'm gonna reboot my controller, my camera here. Hold on. There we go. Let's see. Okay, I read somewhere that using specific nodes with their own scripts is better than using a general node with a lot of scripting. What's better for performance? I probably wouldn't focus too much. I don't think that it's really going to be that bad for performance using either one of those. It's probably going to be, like if you're looking for performance, like improving performance, I probably would recommend fundamentally like focusing on optimization of the actual code rather than like worrying too much about how you're executing the code. I don't think that really is going to be too much of an issue. Alright, well, this is turning back on. Hold on. Alright, so that should just about do it. Alright, let's see. Potato Pin says, "Hey Solar, how's it going?" It's going well, thank you. Thank you very much for asking. Alright, I think we should be good. There we go. Alright, cool. Okay. Alright, so let's see if we can actually show what we got here. Oops, let me minimize that. Meant to do that. There we go. Okay, so what we're going to do here, I'm going to show a little bit of, well, actually, I need to fix something real quick, which is the thunder. Okay, so that works, but this actually loops the thunder sound, which is weird because it's like, well, I mean, like how, fam? How on earth is it actually like just an infinite thunder? I don't get like the real use of that, but that's fine. What we're gonna do, we're gonna have to go ahead and fade this out somehow to have it meet up more seamlessly with the other rain sound loop. Yeah, so let's see if we can get that to work. I turned up the volume a little bit as well. Alright, so right there at the 144 line, it basically should be faded out essentially and gone back to the rain loop. So we're just going to go ahead and grab this, move this to 144 down here. Right here we should be, actually we can start this earlier. Alright, let's see if we can do this. We're just going to do this the kind of awkward way, the wrong way, which is to just interpolate the volume. And then we'll just go in the reverse here. There we go. There we go. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, we'll save this and we'll export this to a wave. Cool. Alright, now we'll go ahead and close this. And we should be good to proceed. There we go. Alright, so that should fix the issue. Now, what we're going to do next, oh that's right, I was going to show basically what I have here. We're going to go over to the maps, head over to outside backyard, there we go. There we go. That's weird. I didn't see the flash the first time. The lightning. There we go. Now you can actually solve the puzzle and head inside. Although that doesn't work for some reason. Why? Let's see. Alright, so Inside shed transport. Oh, I never set this. Okay. Apps. Inside shed. There we go. Cool. Cool. Aldrigo says, "Oh wow, this is so atmospheric. Excellent, thank you. Glad to. Well, hopefully, yeah, hopefully it is atmospheric. Hopefully, it does end up being atmospheric there. All right. So the shed door. Oh, that's right. Actually, we can do it like this. Hold on. Something I noticed is that you can walk behind the shed door, which is incorrect. It should always appear behind the player, basically. Which means that we want, I guess, a z-index of negative, but not under the... Alright, what we're going to do, we'll see if we can get this to work here. So, we're going to go to game map. And we're going to set the tile map, the index to be negative 100. Yeah. Then we can set the shed door z-index to be negative 10. Oh, whoops. It's supposed to be here. There we go. There we go. Alright, so that works. I actually probably should actually fix this instead of just doing something stupid like that. Not stupid, but just unnecessary. Which is... Let's see... And the shed door is fine. inside shed transport. Yeah, that might be good. Let's see how that goes. Yeah. What? Why is it so far? Why is it so far up? Oh, I see. No, wait, I don't see. Why is it so far up? Oh, that's why. Okay. Alright, let's try that. Also, I can put the music back up for this. Alter Ego says, what themes are you aiming for? Oh, wait. Wait, Josh Foreman says, reading about coupling and the solid principles and seeing them contrast with what I've made is unnerving. Do you guys have any similar resources that serve as good guidelines in code? KISS, keep it simple. Stupid. Not calling you stupid, but just that's the principle. But yeah, I guess keeping it simple is a good strategy. People can over-engineer something or overgeneralize things instead of just focusing on getting the job done. You know, people want to like avoid sharing or avoid duplicating code all the time, right? They want to make something that's like easily repurposable, but code by its nature is repurposable in that you can copy it. So unless you have a case where like, you know, tens of objects are going to need, or tens of classes are going to need a certain function or something like that, it's probably for the best to just like copy the code. Unless you can use it multiple times. If you can't use it multiple times, then yeah, don't worry about generalizing. Like generalize after you've used this code multiple times. And that's something that I actually did. It used to be that only the transport object in my game could transport the player, but let me see if I can find it. Yeah, only the transport object could transport the player, but after I worked on this a little bit, I wanted you to be able to interact with the door and then transport to another scene. That's the puzzle, right? So that means that the NPC needs to be able to transport, which means that since both the transport object and the NPC brain object need to be able to transport to another scene, it made sense to put that into a common location so that anything can trigger a transport. The transport object, an NPC brain, or something else. So that makes sense, and that's a good time to repurpose, to kind of generalize, I would say. To make it more complex is when you need to, rather than just, you know, as soon as I create the transport object, it's like, okay, let's make that general. It's like, well, let's wait until we actually need to do this one thing for multiple places. That seems to be the best course of action. And Ray the engineer says, wait, Godot has a sound mixer? Dang, yeah, it does, and it does rock. This is rather cool. Let's lower the resonance on that, actually. What happened to the music? Oh, there's no music out here. Shouldn't there be music out here? Let's see. There is music out here. First memory log. Pardone? Okay, so let's see. I must have misspelled it. Yep. Okay, before that though, let's actually make it so that if I misspell something, it won't not tell me that it doesn't exist. Let's see. All right, that should help. Oh, log is not for log. Oh, I thought log was for like logging. Okay, hold on. It's an actual logarithm. I thought it was still like log. It's basically like printing something, but for log statements. Okay, fine. I'll just go with print. There we go. Josh Foreman says thanks. No problem. And Alter Ego asks, what themes? There we go. What themes are you aiming for? Isolation, unease, fear. I guess just fundamental fears. There we go. The engineer says, actually it seems better without the music, more atmospheric, ironically, maybe not all the time, but perhaps having moments without music at all could drive suspense. Yeah, I think you're right. Might be good without music for this particular area. Possibly. I'll have to see. Side chat. There we go. Why can't I step behind? Why can't I step behind this anymore? I fundamentally could a few minutes ago. Alright, so that does exist. Let's see. Oh, is it because the z-index is 100? Let's try. Does it have to be higher? Because okay, so z-indexes are like additive. So because I set the tile map z-index to -100, if I have a foreground object, I need to set the z-index to greater than 100. So tile map z-index plus 100 plus 0 plus 100 z-indexes are additive. Okay, that explains it. Okay. Produno says, don't forget you can use %s %var. Ho. So I can do something like this. I see. That is better. Ray, the engineer, says, I don't know if Godot has sprite order sorting, but what I usually do is do z-indexing based on the y-coordinate of an object in the in-game map. Are you able to dynamically set the sprite order? Yeah, and it does have a node specifically for that, the y-sort node, which sorts it according to the y position. Produno says, loving the streams, by the way. Thank you. And thank you for the suggestion. Altrigo, do I work on this off stream? Yep. Yeah, I do. Alright, so this is going pretty well. So what we want to do then is... do we want the music? I kind of like it. I kind of like the music. It's calm, and I feel like that's good. Incorrect. All right, let's see. I'll have a sprite open. I should do it. Okay. Oops. All right, so I gotta adjust the z-index of that indicator. That might do it. Let's see. Whoops. No! Okay. There you go. Bond says, I think the lightning flash was under the treetop. That definitely could be. So let's check that out. Head over to the rain. Map, weather, rain. Color rec. What's this? What's the Z hint? Z index on this? Oh, is there not a Z index? I think there isn't. Okay. Okay, let's try something real quick. No. No, it should be over the should be over the tree. Let me take a look at this again. Oh, you're right. You're right. I think it is the tree is over the flash, lightning flash. Not gonna worry about it right now, just because I'm not sure why that's happening exactly. I'm guessing it's because of the Z index of the tree being higher than the flash of the lightning, but the flash of the lightning is a control. Like it should be a GY element rather than just a white plane. Alright, well, let's fix it, I guess. Yeah, alright, might as well fix it. Okay, so the foreground layer is 200 or 100, I guess. So we'll put this on 1000 because they should probably also cover the player's hand, which is on 2000. We'll put this on 500. Okay. There it goes. Cool. Let's see. Bond of the Dead says, true fear is being stuck in a door. That is 100% the case. Let's see. Ravanthanani says, hi people, hello. Thank you very much for stopping by the stream. Ravanth, always a pleasure to have people stopping by. Thank you. General Legendary says, Z-index affects all sprites, including the GUI. You can try sorting scenes instead of it. Well, that's weird because there's no Z-index value for control elements. That's what kind of made me question that, because the control itself has no Z-index value. So I'm not sure. As far as I know, for controls, they're sorted by order rather than using Z-index. That's what I thought was the case, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, I don't see any Z-index here. Josiah says, usually people use canvas layers for controls. Okay, maybe that's what's going on. So maybe that's why it was using Z-index of 0, maybe? Alright, well, that's fine. This will work fine. This will be the flash. Alright, so we should be good to go. Ray the Engineer says, also, is every complex object like the player set up inside its own scene in Godot? Yes. Every complex object is set up inside its own scene and then added into the main game scene and composed. Although my originally the objects that were set up on their own were kind of objects that I expected to like animate or move, or I guess objects that you can step in front of. Yeah, I guess that's kind of what it is. So like the coffee tables you can step behind or in front of. The clock you can step in front of or behind. Well, you can't step behind it, but you can step in front of it. The bed, you can step around it. The bookshelf is animated. Like, you know, certain things are animated. So if it's animated, then it needs its own sprite, so it can actually animate. Yeah, which means it is its own scene. It has its own scene. Cool. Ray, the engineer, says, let's see. Well, that sounds like that could be tiring workflow. Is it all right in practice, or have you found some gripes with it? It's been fine. Something I made was an invisible object that basically allows me to place it down and just have it for something to interact with, which is useful for certain things like this tree, where, you know, maybe I didn't want to have a specific sprite for it or a specific object. Or these shelves, you know, you can interact with them in a couple of basic ways, but they are very generic, and so their sprites, their tiles will exist in other scenes probably. Let's see. There's other examples of this in the park as well. So here in the park, like, you can interact with the light posts. And the trash cans and the grill, but overall they don't really do too much. So yeah, it's that, and that's why they have their own like invisible object. That way I don't have to have a light post object and a trash can object. I can just have an invisible object. So it's not too bad. Bond of the Dead says, aside from the little fixes I've seen, what's the plan for the stream today? New area bug fixes. I didn't really have a plan too much, but I did end up making quite a bit of progress before, which is So, all right, so that's all working. Now, the thing that I did is here in the shack you can find the stick, and then you can also find here you can find the trowel, and then elsewhere you can find the stick. I made it so that you can combine these, so I'd like to try that out, and if so, then we can continue with the puzzle, which is basically that you find a camera and it'll show you a picture that basically shows you where to dig, essentially. Where exactly to put that is another question. Maybe... maybe somewhere up here. Let's check this out. Okay, that's good. Right. Oh, maybe not in the park at all. Boy, I have to remember, what are we digging for? I don't remember what we were digging for. Well, I'll figure that out later. Okay, so for now, what we want to do is to test out that combining system. So it's okay, got it. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to the player. Let's see, player, where is it at? Okay. And we went to, oh wait, how do we? Let's do this. We're gonna go to the, instead, we're gonna go to the park center entrance. Yeah, and here we're going to add item stick and add item that's not the name of it. It's not trowel. What is the other thing? Shovel? I shouldn't have named it shovel. Let's see. It's not a shovel, it's a trowel. Oh, spade. That's what it was. Spade. Okay. Alright, so I just want to test this out to see if I can actually combine this. Cool, it works. Alter Ego says, is it spade? Yeah, it was. It was exactly spade. Let's see. I have to set a flag. It's found. Alright, so what we're going to do next, we're going to yeah, this has to be done this way. Okay, I was thinking like it might be nice to have an if statement that does like compare against the name of an item to see if you have it. But then I realized that if it just used that, then you would be able to find items repeatedly, right? Like you could find an item, get rid of it, and then find it again, which is not what we want. Ray the engineer says, what's the $ camera notation? That allows, is basically the, let me see if I can pull it up. It's basically the same thing as doing this. Instead, you can just do $ camera. Like that. It's just a little bit of a time saver. Alright, this should work now. Let's go. Alright, cool. So it works. Alright, so now what we're going to do, we can just, like, at this point, we know that it works. Actually, let's do one more thing, which is under the inventory, I need to fix this. I don't know why. No for the Republic. Like, I don't know why I like that's a good idea. Yes, it is highly recommended. No, never. Yes, they are quite the couple. Like what? Yes, indeed. And no. How repulsive. Okay. That's fine. Something that came to mind actually while I was working on this, just right now. No, I didn't mean to combine it. But basically, the choices I have are horizontal. It would make more sense if they were vertical because they're horizontal buttons. So it would make more sense to have a up and down choice versus a left and right choice, because then it's like, why do you have two half-size buttons right next to each other when you could have two full-size buttons above and below? So we're gonna do that. Let's go to the GUI scene. Choice container, okay. Oh, alright. Okay. Shoot, hold on. Okay, next neighbor up. Down. Oh wait, down and up. Up and down. Alright, so here's the choice container, which is this. I probably need to have it be vertical instead, so well, it needs to be a vertical. a VBox container. Full right. Facing wide. There we go. Something like that. Okay, let's see. Ray the engineer. So you can combine things to make a shovel. Is this something you have to manually script out in advance, or is there sort of a handler to let you generate these combinations? And Muyato Games says, "Hi Solar, awesome awesome lives, bro. Awesome lives. Thank you. I think. Thank you very much. If I am understanding that comment, thank you." Ray says, "Oh yeah, so basically the way that the combining system works, because I didn't want to have a super complex system where it's like you have to say like I want to combine them. Just if you try to use the stick or the spade when you have the other one, he'll come up with the suggestion himself. He'll just say, hey, do you want to combine it? Because it doesn't, I mean, like, you could say, well, that kind of gives you the solution away, but at the same time, I think is there another time where I combine something? I feel like there is another time where I combine something, maybe? No? Okay. No, it's just other times where you can place things. So, like, in other instances where it's like, oh, it's a key. If you use the key when you're next to the door, he'll just say, do you want to use it on the door? Because it's like, well, that's the logical thing to do. So if you have the stick and you have the spade and you try to use either one, he'll just be like, hey, do you want to use it? Right? It would be even more clear that if you had the spade, a stick, and tape, if you use any one of those, he'll just say, like, do you want to tape it? Because, like, it doesn't make sense to have, like, a whole other verb list, like a verb list, and then a whole other verb to add to say I want to combine these two objects that clearly go together. Like, let's just make it simple. Do you want to use it? Do you want to you want to use them somehow? Do you want to combine them? You know, that makes sense. Muyato Games says, do you use Godot 2 or 3? I'm using Godot 3. And yeah, the way that basically it tells whether you found the stick or the spade is just a flag. It's just a variable that's set in the game, and if you found the stick, then when you try to use the spade, it'll give you the choice to combine the two. If you found the spade and you have the stick and you're using it, it'll give you the choice to combine the two. Alright, so this is working. This is good. Now what we want to do is test this out. So we need to actually test this. So we're going to go to... Park entrance. We're going to move the player over here because the grill is just our testing object right now. Choice. Test. Yes. No. All systems nominal. Alright, cool. Let's try this. Totally didn't like that. I'm guessing this is not the correct thing. Focus, neighbor, top left, top and down. Wait, top and bottom? Is that what it is? Yeah, top and bottom. Okay. Wait a second. Is that neighbor spelled with the... Oh, it's got a U. Okay. That's the UK spelling of neighbor. Alright. So... Okay, so it's bottom. Let's try this. Cool. Alright, so now what we want to do is actually align these, because these are not aligned by any means. Probably because it's starting here, I guess. So let's say it's full rect. See if that makes a difference. Better, but I would like it if it didn't take up the whole space. So let's see if we can like restrict this somehow. Let's say 320 divided by 3, and then see if we can center it. Yeah, let's try that. I'm not insane, right? Like it is actually not centered. Like this is not the same as this. Did I do this wrong? I must have done something weird. Let's see. Let me put a choice. Let me put a button in there so I can actually see how this is shaping up here. No, that's right. Okay. Let me give it the theme that it needs. Oh, no, that's right. Alright, hold on. Wait. Hold on. Godot froze. Yeah, okay. Alright, so what I'm thinking is basically, I'm wondering if, well, let me see. It might have something to do with the text that's on here. Like if it gets long enough. Okay, so it's not actually aligning. Okay, so I must have to set like the growth thing here. Let me see. Both. There we go. There we go. Okay, that should do it. Outside park. Yeah. Alright, let's see how this goes. Cool. I guess one more thing I'd like to do is fix the theme so that buttons have a little bit more space around them. Okay. I can't. Okay. Be nice if I could have this text be longer so I could kind of test it out. But yeah, I want a little bit more space between the tip of the letters and the edge of the button. I'm not sure if this does that. No, that's not what this is. It doesn't say it. Okay, so let's head over to button unfocused. Expand margin. It is moving very slightly. Let's give it a left and right of 4. See if this makes a little bit of a difference. It does, okay. Alright, so we'll give a left and right of 4 and a top and bottom of 2, and then we'll do the same thing for button focused. Alright, let's see how that goes. Better, but why are they so, like, smushed up? Is it the content margin? I'm getting a headache. Let's see. Nope. No, that's not it. I feel like I'm on the right track with... Do I just need a larger border? No, no, no. Because that would just give more of a border. I don't want more of a border width. I want more... I don't want more of a border width. I want... Let's see. Can I give some kind of a distance between buttons in here? Alignment, anchor, margin. No. Grow direction, no. Okay. Separation? Oops. That's not it. That might have been it. Might be separation. Yo, that's it. Okay. So we'll do that. We'll do a combo of separation on this of maybe we'll say 4. And then also on the button. All right, hold on. Give me a second. Give me a second, hold on. Alright, that should have helped out a little bit. There we go. Okay. So I think we're making some progress here. Alright, so this is going well. GUI's up. So we have our separation here. I'm going to make some minor changes to this. Expand margin 4, 2 and 2. Same thing for the focused. Nope. Let's see. Slumber Studio says, hello, Solar. Love from Indonesia, where I sip my coffee and smoke at 9 a.m. Hello. Thank you very much for coming through on the stream. Well appreciated. Thank you very much. Feel free to ask your question. Let's see. I need more separation. That's what that is. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna need more separation there as well on the inventory screen. Muyato Games says, beautiful game. Thank you. This is gonna work. It's too tight. It's a little too tight. Alright, what we might end up doing here is just ignoring it. Not for this, because this is ugly. This needs to be fixed. But we might just put it back to the way it was. For now, at least. Inventory. There we go. Slumber Studio says, I have little to nothing game dev experience, and I know some basic programming. Do you think it's a good idea to just run through Godot's docs to learn about game development? Kind of. Yeah. Like, pardon me. I think that the best course of action to learn game dev is going to be for you to develop your own game. You'll never, but I think a lot of game development comes from practical knowledge of trying different things, learning what makes things slow, or what is a good approach to something, what is a bad approach, and you know what you prefer personally, and then making a game that way. So I think that a lot of it you're going to have to learn by yourself. I think that the Godot docs do a okay job at explaining the basic parts of Godot, but I don't think they are a replacement for like learning Godot. I think that you should definitely make games with Godot to like learn how to make games. If you have no experience, that's fine, but I don't think that like you just get started. The Godot docs are good at kind of leaning you into it. I don't think you have to worry too much about like the specifics of how things are done or what you need to learn. You don't have to worry too much about it. You can just kind of jump in and pick it up. Scytheric says, started on Roblox. I branched out to Godot, Unity, and Zinco, just playing around. I developed a lot of game development and game design skills. Yeah, so just start it. Start the process of game development, and you'll definitely pick it up. You just have to have the capacity and the desire to keep going, and the drive, the motivation, or the discipline. There it is, the discipline to keep going. All right, so this is working out pretty well. So now you can interact with the stick and ask you if you want to combine the two. Alright, now we can actually, now we have a little bit more room to actually do this. So we'll leave that like that. Inventory. Yes, it is highly recommended. No, never. This was not made. Stayed. I have no idea if that's going to fit. No, wait. Got it. There we go. Let's see. Scytheric says, now you can start on any engine that fits your needs if you do the research. Roblox was just easy for me because I started when I was 9. Roblox is a poor engine and not made for big games. Well, yeah, it's more a game like Minecraft. You're not really supposed to make a full game in Minecraft or Roblox. Not just for, I mean, just the main reasons are for the fact that you wouldn't be able to like really distribute it or really play it elsewhere that easily. It's a full game in itself, so making a game within that is just, you can do it, you can have fun with it, but it's not really made like a full game engine. Like Minecraft isn't a game engine. Roblox, as far as I understand, isn't a full game engine. It's just kind of like a sandbox in which you can make games or apps or experiences, but it's not really like a full game engine that gives you the full control. Well, even that, I can't really say that because I've seen some really impressive, I would say, Roblox games. So I guess you could say it's a game engine, I suppose, but not in a traditional sense of a standalone game engine, I guess is the word. Potato Pen says, hey Solar, I have a totally irrelevant question. What keyboard do you use? Since the switches sound super awesome. Also, if I sound like a kid, I'm 13 and I watch your streams to see how Godot works. You don't sound like a kid to me. So hello, hi, and your question: what keyboard do I use? It is a CM Storm Quickfire TK by Cooler Master. It's this one. It's very nice. This is grubby, but yeah, it's a nice. It's a grubby keyboard. I need to clean it, but it's a very nice keyboard. I like it. It took a while to get used to the fact that there's no numpad separate. It's just the numpad and the arrow keys are this one block here. But it's good. It's a nice keyboard. I guess it's like a 75% keyboard or something like that. 80%. Yeah, I would generally recommend it. I might get, like, if I was to get another keyboard, like I don't think I would get another keyboard just to get one. Like, this one's good. I like it. In terms of like core feel and everything, it's solid. Like if I had to replace this, I might consider getting one with the full numpad. like maybe, but I've kind of gotten used to just like hitting num lock and then entering the keys to enter the numbers, then hitting num lock again. So it's not a huge deal. So I might just get another 75% like this. I could never imagine not having a numpad though, because I enter, I enter numbers enough. I would say infrequently maybe, but enough, where like I just couldn't imagine like only having the number keys on top. Like I could never do like a 40% or 50%, whatever the keyboards are that have no numpad and like no function keys or something like that, like the super like minimal keyboard, like not the one with like 1 0 and enter, but like the super like the one that's cut off, where it's like there's no numpad, there's no arrow keys, like the entire right side is gone, maybe the function keys are gone. Like I would need at least this much. Like I would need at least this much, I think, to continue to really use it. Kenji says, hi, Gearind. I'm sorry. Hi, SolarLune. Good job. Greetings from South America. Hello. Thank you very much for stopping by, Kenji. And greetings. Daniel Gomes says, Gearind Game Over is such an amazing track, man. Got stuck in my head the whole day. I'm loving your SoundCloud. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm glad to hear that it's doing that. You're a fan of it. Scytheric says, I have a question. Are you making a living making these games, or do you have another job? I had another job. Now I have some savings that I'm living off of, and I am working on this project that should be my job moving forward. It's still early days. I've only been working at this for a couple of months full time, but it's going pretty well so far. Muyato Game says, pretty keyboard. The important thing is the lights. That is 100% correct. That is 100% correct. All right. All right. So 100% correct. 100. Okay. Oh, it's so hot. Okay, so let's see what we got here. So this is shaping up. This is shaping up. Cool. So now when we do this, I combine the two items. Now we have a shovel. And if I play it again and choose the other item, combine the two items, you have a shovel. Okay, cool. Excellent. Perfecto. Perfecto. Grazie. It's a me. Okay, so what we're gonna do, let's save this. It's looking nice and clean. Let's see. Scytheric says, I hope it takes off. I love the art style of the game already. Excellent. Glad to hear you're a fan. And yeah, I gotta post about this on Twitter more. It's I haven't been posting about it too much, except for making these devlog streams, but not really doing too much, like putting it out there that much. Just kind of here and there. So I need to put more effort into that, I think. Muyato Game says, do you have any advice to learn pixel art? Practice every day if you can. I don't do it, but you should. Practice a lot. Draw things a lot. Like draw things, maybe ideally things that you can objectively kind of like compare. Maybe like if you're drawing pixel art, then draw something like a scene from a movie or a picture of a scene in real life. That way you can kind of like stretch it down and kind of see like how close are you with the anatomy or the form, the shape of the object that you're drawing. Something like that might be good. But just practicing a lot, learning. You don't really have to learn too much about colors. Like learn, but more apply what you see. I don't know. I would say practice. Try, like experiment with different colors for shading, different colors. Hue shifting, things like that. Practice anti-aliasing. That generally always looks good if used well. So you want to anti-alias effectively. So basically just mainly practice. Ask for constructive criticism from people who you respect or who do pixel art. Well, people who you people who do pixel art mainly. You don't have to respect them. I mean, like that's if they do pixel art well, then you're gonna respect them. So forget about that. Just if they do pixel art, then ask, or art in general, ask them for their feedback. They're probably gonna give you some solid, hard-hitting feedback that you'll be able to apply and make your art better. Muyado Games says, ha ha ha, habla en español. I'm from Argentina. Oh, Argentina. Okay, excellent. Let me try. ¿Dónde está la biblioteca? That's muchas gracias. That is 100% basically of the Spanish I know. Essentially. Esencialmente? I don't know. I don't speak Spanish, not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. I speak French pretty well. I'm learning French. It's going on pretty well. But Spanish? Nah. I just don't know. Alright, so this is shaping up. So we can interact with this thing. Is it still giving us stuff? Should not be. Okay, good. Alright, so what we're going to do now, because I'm dying of heat stroke. I've been going for a couple hours, surprisingly. Yeah, it's been nearly a couple hours. Muyado says, excellent accent, bro. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Alright, what I'm going to do is... Actually, I wanted to make this water animate. I still need to do that, and I don't know how I'm going to do it. So I wonder if I can... Oh, Kenji says, SolarLune, do you have any tutorials to recreate the NES sound chip in Sunbox? Nope. I don't have any tutorials for that just yet. It's possible. It's possible, but I mean, like, you don't have to really do anything extra to recreate it. You can just make the instruments individually, like each voice, right? Like it has the square wave. I think it has one square wave. It has a triangle wave, a sawtooth wave, and no wait, it might be a triangle, a sine wave, and 2 pulse waves at like 12.5, 25, 50, or 80%, something like that. You can look it up on so what I would do is like look it up online, the sound chip for the NES, and then just go ahead and like copy that, you know, those specifications as close as you can. You might want to use a sampler with the interpolation set to off. That way it sounds as like grimy and like low quality as possible, you know, like an original NES sound chip, and that's really the closest you're gonna get out of it, I would say. You could try using a distortion unit with like standard frequency and bit rate, but it never really sounded too much like an NES to me, so I never really, you know, tried it. But that's something you can try. Yeah, so I would try those things first. Muyado says, wow, that map. Yeah, I've made quite a few maps so far, and I have still quite a few to go, I think. To put a map from tiled to Godot, do you convert it to an image or transfer it in another way? I have a plugin that handles this handles loading tiled maps automatically. It's from the AssetLib. Let me see if I can find it. Tilted. No, tiled. Why am I typing tilted? Okay. There it is. Tiled map for Godot 3. You want to get, if you're going to use this, you want to get it from the GitHub site for it, because that's the one that does work currently. But yeah, that's what I use, and so when I'm making adjustments to the tiled map, it will automatically reload those into Godot as a valid new map, or as a valid map. Then I can go ahead and proceed to use it. Alright, so this is going well. This just doesn't look right, so I'm going to fix that. There we go. Okay. So what we're going to do here, after this is super thin, it needs to be more like this. Yeah, let's make this a little bit bigger. Alright, so now what we're going to do is... Oh, that's right. I want to animate the tiles. The water tiles. So how I'm going to do that is not known to me. What I would need to do is basically make a script that loops through each of these tiles and animates them in sequence. Is that what I'm going to do? Let's see. Alright, let's try this. What we're going to do, I'm going to try something because I don't know how inefficient this is going to be. I'm going to go to the game map. There it is. I'm going to try to see if I can animate this by hand and see how bad it is. Actually, to make this simple, I'm just going to animate this one layer. Yeah, okay, that's right. Okay, so I can get a cell, and I can set a cell. I can also use a tile. Is there any other way to animate a tile? Tiles clear. All right, let's just try this first. Alright, let's do it like this. Because this might work. Get an array of all cells with the given tile ID. This does not tell me exactly what it... Is it positions? Okay, I guess it's going to be an array of all cell positions. Yeah, this is not well written. Especially, it's an array of what? Like an array of... It doesn't tell me what. Alright, whatever, that's fine. Kenji says I have a tutorial to make animations on my YouTube channel. So you do. This is correct. It's in Spanish, I believe. But I'll see if I can if we can still use it. Shout out to Kenji for the assist here. Let's see. Okay, so you're making name the tile 0, 1, 2, and 3.
simplemente que tenemos nuestro timeline. Abajo lo que hay es probarlo y después modificarlo.
Okay, so you're making the tiles there, and then let's see. All right, so you're making a timer that will. Okay, so you're adding a timer. And then finally, oof. Okay, so basically, I didn't expect this. All right, I think I see what's going on. So basically, you're separating out all of the tiles that belong to a. I see. Well, that's one way to do it. Okay. So if I understand it correctly, you're basically like stacking the tiles in sequence, like 0, 1, 2, and 3, in different layers, and then you're just swapping between them, right? So like the 0, 1 is on top, and then the 1, 1 is on top, then the 2, 1 is on top, then the 3, 1 is on top, and then it repeats. That is a way to do it. And that might be a better way to do it. Because this way it requires more setup, but it might be better because for one, it can be looped a little easier. Because I have this, which is like kind of frames in sequence here, like multiple frames. I'm not using one frame across the whole water surface. I'm using multiple frames to kind of break it up and look a little bit different. But then also, like if I were to animate this normally, I'd have to loop through each frame, sorry, each tile in each of these cells and change their values, which might be bad. I'm going to assume it would be bad. It probably is going to be bad. Your method, Kinji, is probably better because otherwise it'd be a little bit of a pain to approach this. Let's see. So I'll have to make multiple layers, like 1, 2, 3, 4. If it's a 4-frame animation, I need 4 different additional layers, and then I can adjust them using the Zia index. I know that there was another method to like sorry, I'm just lost in thought right now. Also, Godot froze for some reason. All right, so so what I'm probably gonna do here, the thing about the tile map method is I have my maps are so huge. I don't feel like that's gonna be efficient enough, especially if I'm targeting mobile devices too. So if I'm targeting more mobile devices, I need to avoid using memory. So it's gonna be drawing a lot essentially if I have a lot of tile maps, tile layers. So it might be good to try first setting the tiles manually. Maybe it'll be okay if it's just on one layer and the maps are small enough. Maybe it'll work. Let's see if it will here. We'll go to the park entrance. Oh, that's right. I was looking up tile map. Cell size. Load. Surely there's like a... Alright, let me try this. I can try using get used cells for cell and get layer.get used cells by ID. And then for the ID number, I can try using this ID, which theoretically should be the right one, 676. Let's see if it gives us something. Okay, it does. RazEdge says, I'm not sure if this is helpful, but could you have some kind of large animated texture and obscure the rest under the map or something? That is actually a really good idea. That's actually a really good idea. That's all right, RazEdge, you're thinking way ahead of me. That's just the better method to do it than what I was going to come up with. Thank you very much for that idea. All right, so we'll just do that. We're just going to do that. We're going to animate this in a sprite and see if we can basically first get it to tile across the whole map, and then if we can do that, we can just cut out this bit, maybe something like this, and kind of just like leave it as the border and then just animate the rest, something to that effect. So we'll see if we can get this to work first. Okay. Now, let me cut these out. Now, how exactly caustics work, or this like animated texture is gonna animate, I don't know. Like I don't know too much on that one. We're gonna have to see, I reckon. That might be my phone saying like, I'm out of battery. Okay, now I don't actually need to do this. is, I mean, it's fundamentally not shaping up. I mean, on a fundamental level, it doesn't look good. But I can't do anything about that right now. So let's see what we can do about it. Let's see if we can fix this up a little bit, and if it'll actually turn out looking pretty good. Okay, so this is what it looks like essentially with no water. Now what we want to do is basically make a 2D scene that's water. Change type. This will be a sprite. Now the thing that I don't know about with my current method is if I can actually stretch out. Let's see. If I can actually stretch it out and have it retain its shape. I'm not sure if I can do that. Let's see. Yeah, let me take a quick look here. Animated sprite. No information. So what I'm seeing here is pretty much what I expected and thought, which is that, like, got it. Okay. Let's see, Bond of the Dead says you could make a color rect, give it a material size tiled across, or even a textured polygon maybe. I know in the material tab you can repeat textures and such. Animated ones I'm not so sure. Yeah, that's what I think I might need to, like, because basically I need it to repeat horizontally and vertically. Even though it's a sprite sheet. So that, like, it can stretch across this entire thing. I don't think that I can do that, though. That's the thing that's kind of messing me up right now. I don't think I can stretch it as I want. Let me see. Let me try one of the other ways. Let's just focus on stretching it, I guess. So let's try polygon 2D. We want a polygon here, here, here. Let me actually give me a grid. No, where's the snapped? Yeah, okay. No. Yes. Whoa. Okay. Now the texture. Fez Prazerino, hello, welcome to the stream. Always good to have you. Oh. What if I were to do something like this? Repeat enabled, re-import. And then just like say, I don't care, and animate the offset of the, no, animate the offset of the texture. Whoa. That kind of works. If I move it, no, that won't really work. I mean, it'll work in terms of, it'll kind of appear like an animation, but the frames are pretty obviously, well, no, it's not too bad. Let's see how it works. See how it looks. Okay. Alright, there we go. And then we want it to not go back, clamp. We want it to be nearest. Yeah! Yeah, that's... Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll... Alright. It's just like, it's just barely okay. And it's just like, yeah, sure, that's what we're going for. Alright, so we're just gonna autoplay this sucker and wrap it around her neck and call it a day. This is fine. Fine. So we'll just go ahead and let's see how this turned out. Water. Let's do like this. Water. Here. There. And then we want to go back. Actually want this Z index to be super low. Or high, I guess. To make sure that it's underneath everything else. We also can stretch this out considerably larger. Can I do this a little bit of an easier way? Data, here we go. So 0, okay. 291. Why is it not offset? No. Oh, that's the, yeah, okay, that's fine. Oh, is that what it's doing? It's animating the off? No, it's not. Okay, so I'm not sure why the center point of this thing is not zeros. What? What the heck? Oh, let's, wait. Okay, so this needs to be at 0, 0. Then that means that this could be the polygon 2D. This could be the water. I see. I see where I messed up. Let's replace this to be the polygon 2D. There we go. And then the data here can be 0, 0. This can be like 2000, 0. This can be 2000, 2000. This can be 0, 2000. There we go. And then this, we can just do what we did before. Okay, so we animate this by keyframing it. Yes. Nope, not that. We want to keyframe that. There, texture. 16. And then autoplay. Okay, cool. All right, now we go back to the park entrance. It is on top of everything else. What is happening in there? It's because it needs to be negative 1,000. Park entrance. Let's see how this sucker looks. Hey! That's actually disgusting. That is nasty, dude. It looks like veins or something. It doesn't look at all like... I mean, it doesn't really look like water, just fundamentally. Oof. But at the same time, I'm happy that it worked out. Kind of. A little bit. A little bit. Kinda. A little bit. I still have to put it here. This is a little bit worse. That it's just like a big gaping hole. It's just pitch black. Like, what? All right, but at least we know that this does work. It does kind of work. What I'll probably end up doing is kind of fixing it a little bit up, fixing it up a little bit. I think what I did was on the right track when it comes to animating water, but I think that it's not quite correct because it's supposed to ebb and flow, and it's just kind of like pulsating, and that's not really what water tends to do usually. So what I'm probably gonna end up doing, I'll take another crack at it, but I might end up just like doing this a little bit differently, where I'll have to export each of the frames as individual images and then use an animated texture to actually swap out the frames in sequence. Because otherwise it's just not really gonna look that great, I don't think. Although this is not bad. The only thing is that like the illusion kind of works here, but I think that once I get it correct, it's gonna be pretty obvious that it's like frame 1, 2, 3, and 4 is gonna be in sequence horizontally. Like it'll feel like there's waves, but that kind of is what water does. So I don't know. It might work. We'll see. I'll see if I can kind of fix it up. Or maybe I'll leave it like that, because this is honestly kind of creepy. I gotta add a person. I'm gonna add a person here before I leave. I gotta add some guy looking sitting on the water here. Somebody. Daniel Gomes says, I saw a couple of flash frames. What are those? Am I seeing things? It's lightning. Potato Pin says, you could animate the water as if the waves are moving tiles constantly when it's just looping. That's what I'm doing. Or do you mean like horizontally? Like horizontal waves? Maybe I'll do that. Maybe. I mean, that doesn't... Well, yeah, maybe I'll do that. I have to kind of take a look at like older games, how they tend to do it. Where is... Am I sticking to 3 colors? Okay. Yeah, it's fine. This should be fine, I think. Lady. It's fine. Oh wait, that's what I'm doing wrong. Lady sitting. Alright, we should be good. Now we're just gonna go ahead and add an object. We're just going to take the bed. Oops. Oops. Call this lady sitting. The sprite, we're just going to go ahead and give her this. Collision shape is going to be tiny in comparison. Sprite should be 2 frames. Add an animation player. Alright, animation player. Make a new animation. Sit. Sprite. Frame, yes. Cool. Now we can go back over here, park entrance, actually park center. We need to put water in here too. Water, oops. Distance water, yes. There we go, save. Oh wait, Potato Pin says the water would be moving horizontally in the same direction the rain is falling, and that would give an effect of wind, and if you added a transparent white filter, it could give the illusion of fog. Huh. Aaron Moore says, I would use horizontal eye for idle, vertical eye for talking. Wait, are you already doing that? I'm not, but that's a good idea. That is a very good idea. How do I do this? I need to change this animation player. Actually, I guess I can just do something like this. Let's make an actual frame for talking to her. She's an actual human being. Alright, let's give 3 frames. Talk. Make another frame, because why not? Four. Cool. Talk. Cool. Alright, let's see if we can actually get this working. We're just gonna go Y sort. This is child. This is gonna be lady sitting. Whoops. Sitting lady. Over. Let's make it, yeah, consistent. Alright, cool. Let's add, pardon me, let's add an NPC brain. There we go. Let's go over here to the thing. This is park entrance. Lady sitting. That's it. Sometimes I just like to come come out here and sit and watch the waves. Play anim, talk, play anim, sit, talk, sit. Alright, let's see how that goes. Oh, camera froze again. Whoops. It definitely must be overheating. Yep. Probably is. Oh, I think it just shut off. It probably just actually ran out of battery. Which is, oh, because yeah, I don't have it plugged in, that's why. Alright, that's fine. We'll just continue. This is just about the end anyway. Let's see how this goes. One thing I want to do is change the collision shape from 8.8 for this. Move her sprite up. There we go. Okay. That should do it. Now we can actually move behind her. We should be able to. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Not bad at all. This is pretty sick. It already it's feeling definitely alive here. Let's just do one more thing, and that's to change the color of her hair because it's easy to fall, I think. It's easy to kind of like lose track of it. Let's see if this makes a little bit of a difference. That wasn't the right sprite, was it? No, I guess it was. Oh, I only did it on. Okay. There we go. There we go. That should help. There we go. Excellent. Well, that's pretty much as good as I think we're going to get everything going here. I'm going to lower the music volume a little bit just to make it so that actually you can hear the sounds a little bit better. Not that low. rocking. That is basically it. I think we've made quite a bit of progress today. Minor things, but pretty good stuff nonetheless. Definitely going to keep up development on my side of things following this, though, because there's quite a bit to do nonetheless. But overall, this is not bad. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. All right, well, this is fun. RazEdge says maybe you could have different sound effects when different NPCs are talking eventually. Maybe just pitch shifting what you've got would be good. Yeah, I was thinking about that when you mentioned it. Just pitch shifting what I have. That probably would be good and get a pretty good effect, I think. But yeah, overall, this is working pretty sick. It's really shaping up. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for your suggestions and for your help. It's been real as usual, and it's looking pretty good and feeling pretty good and sounding pretty good. So hopefully it'll be good and finished soon, and people will be happy to play it, because I think it'll be fun to make it and be fun to see people play it and kind of see what their experience is. So thank you very much for watching. I've been SolarLune. It's been real, and yeah, I'll catch you guys on the flip side next time with another I Know Who I Am video game development stream. All right, thank you very much.